What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up, people? Welcome back. Put my drink to the side. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Yes, it's been a crazy day so far, but what makes it better is that I'm here and I'm about to show you a beautiful, delicious dish. All right. Now, where do I begin? There's lots of things going on here, but today in particular, what we're doing is Asian themed. So let's jump right into it, shall we? My name is Ed Harris. Welcome to my channel, right? Welcome to Vegan Everything, Vegan Every Day. We do plant based 24/7, or like I say, 24/7. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you so much for um, watching right now. For those of you watching right now, welcome. For those of you who will be watching the replay later on, when you get out of work, when you get out of school, when you finish doing whatever it is that you have to do, thank you for checking it out. All right. But the first time I did a dish similar to this was when I worked in a hotel in New York City called Town, right? And we did a stuffed cabbage. It was a Napa cabbage, but it went with skate, right? Now that I don't eat meat, seafood, poultry, or anything like that, I have to figure out ways to replicate things that I love and I like, and I say I veganize, right? So today we're doing that. All right. So we're making a beautiful stuffed cabbage. As you can see right here, it's like literally the size of my head. Actually a little bigger. So this is a beautiful fresh Napa cabbage that I picked up from the Asian market today. We're gonna break that down. First things first, we need to make our stuffing because that needs to be cool so we can actually stuff and roll the cabbage. Right? So we're gonna work on the filling first, and then we're gonna work on the cabbage. All right, because it's different parts to creating this dish. You know what I mean? We have to slightly cook the cabbage first, initially, just to make it pliable, bendable, foldable, rollable, right? And then we need to pre-cook the filling, so that way, when we actually put everything together, we don't have, we don't have to worry about cooking the filling because it will already be cooked, seasoned, and beautifully flavored. All right. So let's jump into it. Actually, let me get an apron. I don't want to mess up my cool sweater. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right, let's do it. And for those of you watching right now, if you would like, you can totally join me at the chef's table. It's below the screen. All right, you can click on it, you can join. You can see me as you're seeing me now, but I can also see you because you're on the chef's table. Or you can choose to keep the camera off and just watch me and still talk, right? But the cool thing about the chef's table is that you get to interact with me right now, right here, right? So you can ask me questions while I'm doing things, and we get it popping, right? So my water, I'm gonna turn that down because I don't need it right now, but I do need my pan to get nice and hot, right? So as that is getting hot, let's talk about the ingredients. And once this stream is finished, I'll upload the recipe, make any tweaks I need to make because for me, I like to improvise 24/7. Even though I might have a recipe, like every time I start my kitchen, excuse me, I always have a recipe ready to go. But in the moment and in the spur of the moment, like sometimes I'll switch up and I'll change a few things. But that's not for you to worry about because once the recipe is uploaded, it'll be and attached to this stream, it'll be the way it needs to be. All right, so let's go over the ingredients. We have our Napa cabbage. We have very fine ginger. I have some scallions, not scallions, onions here, garlic over here. We have our cauliflower that's sliced real nice and thin. We have shiitake mushrooms, which I love. They provide so much umami. Mm. So I sliced that up like julienne strips, nice long pieces because I didn't want I want to kind of have everything in the cabbage kind of stay. So the longer they are, the better. You know what I mean? You'll see. Then we have our shredded carrots. I actually took my peeler, and after I peel the carrots, I just kept peeling the carrot, right? So I end up with these beautiful ribbons that I then just made smaller. Okay. We have our white rice here, jasmine rice, of course, cooked beautifully, nice and loose. And I'm gonna play with this, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Initially, when I created the recipe, I didn't have any of these, and they go by different names. These are called either hanjimijis, or you can call them beach mushrooms, right? And it's not beach as in the sand and the water. This is Beech, all right? But they're amazing. They come all white like this, or you can get them brown, all right? So we're gonna play around with that as a garnish as well. Over here, I have my different sauces and chili sauce that is gonna go into the filling. We have sesame oil, soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, and chili sauce. All right. You know, I'm from the Caribbean. So we keep it spicy 24/7, but not super spicy. Just it has to have a little kick. You know what I mean? It brings out the flavor. It creates, beautiful music. And we also have scallions that I sliced super thin that is sitting in ice water. All right. And the reason it's sitting in ice water is because one, it takes out any strong onion flavor, and two, it allows the scallions to firm up very well and really kind of stay the shape that they're sliced in. So you'll see that once we start plating. All right. And then for the sauce for this, after everything is said and done and it's all rolled up, right? We have sauce that we're going to put over it, which is a little bit of orange juice, some vegetable broth, a little bit of chili oil again, sesame seeds, sesame oil, and a pinch of sugar. All right, so it's gonna be real nice, sweet, tangy, savory. Not necessarily sweet, but it's gonna have a touch of sweetness to it, right? And I have my ice bath here for my cabbage when we need it later on. So I'm gonna get my pan hot. I'm gonna add some oil to my pan. All right, and we don't need too much, just enough. Gonna crank that up, let it come up real nice and hot, and then we're gonna start with our aromatics. All right. And if you have any questions and you're too shy to join the chef's table, I hope you're not too shy. But if you are, you can always scroll a little bit down below the screen, and there's a chat box menu that you can type your questions or comments, and I can see it there as well. You know what I mean? So while our oil is getting hot, let's I love a sharp knife. It does wonders, ladies and gentlemen. It does wonders. And believe it or not, a sharp knife is actually safer than a dull knife. All right. And you might say, how come? I'm glad you asked that question. I will tell you. The reason is because with a dull knife, you have to apply more pressure. And because you're applying more pressure, if you slip, you can cut yourself. You know what I mean? But with a very sharp knife, it's very effortless to slice, to cut, to chop. So there's no pressure involved. So, you know, you get the drift. All right. So I just took out the external pieces because, they were a little wilted and, not looking the best. All right. But we want to just fully break off the leaves like this, right? Our oil is hot. So let me put that to the side. Let's get our aromatics in, which is our onions, garlic, garlic, and ginger. All right. So the idea with that is to get it nice and caramelized. All right, because we're looking for flavor. Okay, so we're gonna just leave that alone, let it do its thing while we get our Napa cabbage ready. All right. And we want the super big leaves, of course. All right. Oh, wow. Look, it's a twin. So cool. I've never, I've never seen that before. Awesome, awesome. Let me put this to the side. Let's check on our aromatics. And right now, if you are in my kitchen, you would smell ginger, right? I'm just adding a little bit more oil. We're gonna let that do its thing. So now our cabbage, good, you can see, yes. We want to just make sure these bottoms are how they are. So I'm gonna go wash these real quick and I will be right back. How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's cool. All right. Washed and ready to go. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just trim the bottoms just a little bit. You know, we want a little bit of uniformity. You know what I mean? Let's stir this. One thing you have to learn when working, especially in a professional kitchen, granted, we're not in a professional kitchen, but it's still good to have, is being able to multitask, right? Because trust me, when those orders start coming in and you're like, oh, you got to be able to fire it up, you know, make sure you remember that it's there. Now, these you can totally keep. All right, if you're doing a stir fry or anything like that, chop them up, put them in there. It's gonna be delicious. All right. So we have those. After we roll it, we're gonna be putting it on this, so I can rest it here for now. All right. Let's get this going. So you can see the color right now, right? It's still, you know, it's getting translucent, you know, but there's not a ton of color, right? We want a little bit more color because, like I always say, color when it comes to food is flavor, all right? And especially when you are doing plant-based food, you're doing vegan food, it's really important to introduce flavor as much as possible every step of the way. So this being the initial stage of us making the filling, this is how we introduce flavor that we can never get again if we skip this step. All right. So super, super, super important. Okay. And I just want to say shout out to all my new followers and people that are joining in the text community as well. Thank you for watching and checking out these videos. I can't wait to see when you make these dishes. Send me a message and let me know. Post it, tag me, at me, DM me. I'm here for you. You know what I mean? I want to see what you're doing. Okay. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. All right. I got you. Okay. I'm going to crank this back up now all the way because I like the color we have. All right. It's nice and golden, not too brown. All right. We're going to crank that up. And the reason I had it low is because with onions, garlic, and ginger, the sugar content can be high. So if the flame is too high, it burns very quickly. And I know anyone that cooks, you know this. All right. We've all burned onions and garlic before. Now, if I'm doing Indian food, burnt garlic is totally fine. But we're not doing Indian food. So we need lightly caramelization action going on here. All right. Now we're gonna add our mushroom first and then cauliflower. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna bring this over here. Let's see. Can you see? Yes! That's what I'm talking about. Let's switch the camera. Yes, Pinky. All right, let's make sure this is a little better. How is that? A little bit more. There we go. All right. So you see, nice and brown. Now let's add our mushrooms. Okay, mushrooms are in. And just be mindful when you add the mushrooms initially, what's going to happen is going to seem like you don't have enough oil or fat in your pan to cook it. But not to worry. Mushrooms are like sponges. As soon as you put them in, they're going to suck up all of that fat. But as they cook and render, they will release the moisture and the oil again. All right, so just give it a second. If it's still kind of dry, then you can maybe add a touch more oil if you want it. All right, but just remember that. And with mushrooms, they don't taste that good if you don't season them. All right, so we're gonna lightly season this, right, with a little bit of salt and pepper. Right, Jakes. Then we're gonna give it a little toss. See how that kind of shrink down there? All right, beautiful. That's what we want. Now we're going to add our cauliflower. And then we're going to hit it with a pinch of salt again. Remember, the idea here is to season everything as you go. You're not seasoning heavily, but you're seasoning a little bit, right? So this way, when everything comes together, you're not lacking seasoning or flavor anywhere. You dig? All right, you dig. All right, so we're gonna let that do its thing. We're gonna let that get some color. In the meantime, we're gonna mix up our sauce that we're gonna pour into that. All right. We don't want to add this too early because it's gonna prevent our veggies from getting that natural caramelization that is so needed. Okay. And I'll tell you a secret. One of the reasons people don't like mushrooms is because a lot of people don't understand how to cook it, right? Mushrooms, you can't overcrowd the pan. If you do, it starts to steam, right? So if you want it to steam, that's one thing, but at least get that initial color first, right? Because once you get that color, you're golden. But if you put too much in the pan and it doesn't get that color and it never gets that color, then you have to rely on sauces and stuff like that, and it doesn't really penetrate the mushroom, right? So the searing is what really seals in the flavor. All right. Okay, those are ready. We're gonna add our carrots. Try to escape me there, didn't ya? We're gonna add our carrots, and then we're gonna pour in our sauce. Because unlike the other veg, our carrots don't need any color. You know what I mean? Whew. I wish you could smell this. I wish you could smell this. All right. Talk about massive flavor. Just make sure you get rid of any kind of lumps. All right. turn this off. Right? What I'm gonna do is remove this from the fire. Right? We're gonna bring this back over here. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. That's good for now. Okay. So let's bring this off the fire. I'll move this down. All right. Here we go. Yummy. It smells so good. And you notice as soon as I add the rice, the sauce, not that long because the rice is already cooked. Everything else prior to adding the rice is already cooked. So literally, I'm just kind of mixing everything in and get it nice and, incorporated, right? So we're gonna let this cool. And I'm gonna transfer it actually, so I can put it into the freezer. Because this pan is still hot and I want it to cool down as fast as possible. So I'm gonna crank up actually I want to taste it first before I put it away. I know it doesn't need any more seasoning, but I still want to taste it. I'm like salivating here. Mm. 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 It almost tastes like a chili fried rice. You know what I mean? But not spicy. It's awesome. All right. So we're doing this so it can cool down. Right? I'm going to turn on the rapid freeze. And this I'm going to leave over here so it can cool down on its own. All right? So into the freezer. Now let's work on our cabbage. So these, get rid of that water. These are ready to go. As soon as the water comes to a boil, now let me get my ice bath, right? Because that's super important. And the ice bath, of course, is just water and ice, right? So we have that. So these beauties right here. Just take those out. See how they grow? So obviously you don't use this part, right? So you can cut as close to that as you want. You don't need that much. That's good. Put the rest to the side. All right, and then we're gonna just trim that. Trim these. And that's it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is sear these in my little saute pan. Sear that. Put that to the side. And then let's work on the other garnish while we're waiting for the water to come to a boil, right? It's almost there. So I had some cilantro that was soaking in some ice cold water just to brighten it up, bring it back to life, right? I like using cilantro stems as well. Like they're great for a lot of things in your sauces, in your fillings, stuffings. Okay, water is boiling. Let me leave this right here. All right. So what we're gonna do is just dip this into the water, and we can do all of them because it's not gonna take that long. All right. Count to about 30 seconds, and It's done. All right. Okay. Whew. Nice and hot. All right. Turn that off. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we want to make sure that this is fully submerged in the ice water, okay, in the ice bath. All right. So it can, and the reason we're putting this in an ice bath is to stop it from cooking any further. All right. And what that allows to happen is it allows it to keep this beautiful bright green color. You know what I mean? So that's what we want. All right. Because we eat with our eyes, and I'm all about making food look beautiful, as well as taste good. Right. So we'll let that sit for a second so it can completely cool down. And I'll get some paper towel so we can pat dry it, drain it. Because that water is going to dilute our filling and all of that stuff. And we don't want that. All right. So we got that going, which is nice. Okay, so let's work on the sauce in the meantime. All right, so I have about a tablespoon of orange juice right here. Okay, I have also a tablespoon of vegetable broth. I'm going to add to that. Yeah, I'm going to put all of it. It's probably a little more than a tablespoon, but who's going to check me? No, I'm serious. All right, so next, let me get my spoon. And we're going to do the chili oil because we like it a little spicy. All right. Chili oil in there. And this chili oil, ladies and gentlemen, I actually made it on Kitch. So if you need a delicious chili oil, scroll through my channel and get this recipe. I'm telling you, it's the best chili oil you will ever taste in your life. I promise you. It's so delicious. All right. There's fresh shallots, garlic. I mean, really amazing flavors. Toasted garlic, toasted sesame seeds. Like it's the business. All right. We're going to add to this about 4 tablespoons of soy. Okay. And then a tablespoon of sesame oil. Because what is Asian food without soy and sesame oil? Like, I don't even think it's possible. These are like two predominantly amazing flavors. Let's clean this up. Okay. I'm like always cleaning. Okay. So this is our sauce right here. Right? Super easy, super simple. Right? Because this is going to just get drizzled over the seared cabbage. All right? So we're just mixing this up. So when I worked at Budokan, we had this super delicious sauce for one of our dumplings. And all we did was add some celery stems to it. And the first time I saw it, I was like, really, celery stems? But then I tried it and I was like, wow. But the trick is to do the not celery, sorry guys, cilantro stems, do it as you need it, right? Like you don't want to make the sauce 2-3 days before and add the celery. Why I keep saying celery? Add the cilantro to it because the soy is gonna break it down, right? You want it to stay super fresh and vibrant, so you add it in the day you need it. Okay. Now I'm gonna just roughly quick because I'm gonna add some of this to our filling. I love cilantro. And if you don't like cilantro, I understand. I get it. Not a lot of people do, but I love it. Like the flavor of it, it just makes food really yummy to me, And I learned something when I was in Thailand. They over there, they use the roots as well, which is crazy because in America, you will never find celery. You never find cilantro with the roots intact. Like at least I don't see it, and I've looked, right? But anyway, let's do this. You see the color of the cabbage? It's just like super bright green, right? Now, if we didn't put this into the ice bath after we cooked it, it would not be this color, right? And I do this with all of my green veggies, that I'm going to present somehow, right? This is how the restaurants do it. So it comes out to your table, the asparagus, the string beans, haricot vert, whatever green vegetables, the broccoli. This is how it comes out looking so beautiful. It's always blanched in shock, right? Don't say I didn't share that secret with you, okay? But you guys are super foodies, so you probably already knew that, I'm gonna just roll this up real quick just to, get rid of that extra water. Unroll it back. All right. So, ice bath is not needed anymore. Our pan is hot, so let us sear these really quickly with just a little bit of olive oil. If I can find my olive oil. This one is not open. And neither is this one. All right. I'll open this one then. Okay, we don't need a lot of oil, just a little bit. It's about a tablespoon. All right, we're gonna get this nice and hot because these mushrooms, they actually sear beautifully, right? Our pan is hot. All right, that's down. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. Yeah. I'm gonna add one bay leaf. I'll add two. And those bay leaves, I actually shipped them from St. Lucia when I was there for a month. So these bay leaves are super special and add tons of flavor. But that's it. Real simple, real quick. But you see the beautiful color that it gets, right? On the sides. So I'm gonna just put this back on for a second. Let it sear just for a little bit more. And then that's done. Let's get our filling. Yes. Nice and cold. We'll add our cilantro. Turn that off. Let's get a spoon. And we're gonna just mix this up real quick. And the reason I'm adding the cilantro as this is cold is so that you keep all of the integrity of the cilantro, you keep all of the flavor. So when we're eating it, you get that fresh, bright cilantro, right? Because otherwise, if you were to cook this or add it in while it was hot, you'll get some cilantro, but you don't get that brightness, that freshness, right? And that's what we want. We want freshness, okay? Whew, I'm a little parched. Okay, let's stuff. So instead of stuffing turkeys, we stuff cabbage. Beautiful color. Okay, first up. Now, sometimes depending on your Napa cabbage, this part here, right, this part will be not so bendable because it might be really thick, especially the bigger ones. So what you can do is, again, with a super sharp knife, and don't try this at home if you're not comfortable with a knife, right? You put it down, and you know what? I'm going to bring this closer so you get a better view of the knife skills. There we go. All right. So you pretty much want to follow just this white part of the Napa cabbage, right? So you're just slicing about halfway through. See that? See how thin that is? But it definitely, you see, it definitely makes a big difference. You see how much more it bends now? Like I'll grab one that I haven't cut yet, and look, you see, it's much, I don't want to bend it anymore because it's providing resistance. But when you slice it, see how easily it just bends? So that's the idea. If you're having trouble rolling it, all right? So I'm going to just prep them like that, and then we can get to the rolling. For the twinsies, all right, we're going to cut this one carefully because it's attached. See? Cut it and it separated. It's all right. Okay. Any questions for me? I gotta go check the chat and see if anyone left me a question, but you can always come up to the chef's table for those just joining and you can let me know. All right, no questions. Let's keep it rolling then. All right, we are almost done, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost done. Okay, last one. There we go. We are done. Okay, put these back here. First one up. So when we're gonna roll it, you don't want to roll it from the top side. All right. So you want to flip it over from the side that you didn't cut. Okay. And you want the green leaf part pointing away from you. Okay. I'm gonna transfer my garnish to a bowl because we're gonna need to sear our cabbage later on. So we're gonna reuse the same pan, which I'm gonna just keep on a low flame. All right. So now for our, gonna take just a little, put it in the center. I think 1 spoon is good enough. All right. And just like that, we roll it up and we make sure it's nice and tight. Boom. Super simple, super easy. All right. Roll it and be gentle as you're picking it up and just kind of hold the sides so this way the filling doesn't fall out. All right. And have a container, a tray that you can rest it on until you assemble all of it so you can then go to the next step, which is the searing. All right. So a spoon right in the center. All right. I don't put a lot because it starts spilling out and then it's like, what's the point, you know? So as long as the center is nice and packed, I'm good, right? Now, if you wanted to put a little bit more, you totally can. It's totally up to you. But based on my experience, since this is not my first rodeo, no, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, 1 spoon is good. You know what I mean? 1 spoon is good. But I will tell you a trick, a tip. If you wanted to put more filling, what I would do is I would take half of the filling and I would put it into a food processor, right? And just pulse it for a couple seconds so it becomes tacky, right? With that, you add it to the rest of the filling and it will act almost like a binder, right? And that will allow you to put a little bit more and it won't fall out if you wanted to stuff it with more filling, all right? That's secret tip number 2 I shared with you today. Okie dokie. All right. We are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for rocking and rolling with me. All right. While we do this delicious, yummy stuffed cabbage that I can't wait to dig into. Whew. Always clean as you go. All right. Always clean as you go. Okay. I think this will be the last one. Okay. Yes. Can you imagine these at a party? Game changer. Everyone's going to be like, wow. Okay. Let me get this out of the way because we don't need to cut anything else and we are going to be plating. So, yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's get our plates. All right. Not sure what plate we're gonna use because I think we're gonna go. I don't know. I like height, but I also like the abstract of the color plate. Which one should we do? White plate, deep dark color plate. I need your help. All right, pan is hot. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. All right, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. All right, and then we're gonna sear these. Let me take the camera over here. Yes. All right, now look at these beauties. Look at that. Nice, right? Okay, so in there, with the side that you rolled, right? And literally, we're just getting a little bit of color on these. All right, just a little bit of color. Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go with the white plate. I think for color contrast, I think that'll be the best case scenario. All right, I have my sesame seeds here that we're gonna use. Fresh. Okay, let us flip these over. Look at that. That's beautiful. Let's add the last one in. Drizzle just a little bit of oil there for that last one. And just like that, we are done. All right. We have our garnish, scallions. We have our sauce. Okay, let's get these off from here. Okay, so let's bring this back over here so we can see the plate up. All right. Okay. Look at that. Okay. Get a serving spoon. Woo-hoo-hoo. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. So we stacked them up, right? Now we could plate it like that, or we can do just 3 on the small plate. It's totally up to you. So now what I have here, like I said, was my scallions, right? That's sitting in ice cold water. I'm gonna just take it out and let it drain on top of the paper towel, so we don't use any of that extra water, right? Mix our sauce up one more time. And then we just spoon it right over our cabbage. Yes. Okay, that's done. Then we go with our delicious mushrooms, right? That are beautifully seared. This adds another element to the dish. And then last but not least, see the scallions? So let me pick a few of them so I show you what I mean with the ice water. You see what the ice water does? It firms them up so they stand on their own, and they just come out amazing. So scallion right on top. Such a green dish, which is what we like, because this is all about the vegan, right? This is all about plant-based, everything, every day. It's just what we do. All right. And then sesame seeds. Like, yeah, right? A little blonde and a little black sesame seeds, right? Because we like contrast. Look at that. Let's switch this camera so I can show you, right? Look. That's it. We are done. I'm going to transfer one of these to a plate so I can dig in. Yes. Actually, you know what? Just pick up the. No, I'm not going to be greedy. I was going to just pick up the whole thing, but I got to take a picture, so I won't cut into it yet. Anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today to do this beautifully stuffed cabbage. Like, it's super easy. It's delicious. It has tons of flavor. All right. And I'm here if you have any questions. All right. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen. And this week we are packed. Today we did this. Tomorrow we are talking about my amazing sea moss connection. All right. In St. Lucia. And then on Thursday, we are doing a 3 dessert situation. So 3 chefs on Kitch. Chef Nina, Chef Sesabek, and myself will be doing Thai desserts. So definitely make sure you click on the Save My Spot so you can be alerted when we do that. That's going to be at 8 p.m., I believe. And it's going to be amazing. Like 3 totally vegan Thai desserts. Very different. Amazing. I can't wait for that. So check out the channel. All of this is already scheduled. So all you have to do is click on my channel and you will see everything. All right. Turn on notifications, click on the follow button, all that good stuff. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow. All right. Remember, eat well, be well, and cook well.